Welcome to NFL Week 14 predictions video. Last week I went 9-7. That was an embarrassing week from Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and then there were games that I felt disappointed. But overall record 131-62. Yeah, the loss column was 55. Yeah, so that I didn't deserve that, but let's move on from last week and go to this week. Starting off with Thursday night, you got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Detroit Lions at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Detroit is a 3.5 point favorite. Huge game for both teams. The Cowboys just got a huge win at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. And think about that. They beat the Eagles in a 20 when they were down 21-0, and they won by 3 points, 21-24 over the Eagles on Sunday. And then they have 4 days to get ready for Thanksgiving against the Chiefs, and they won in 4 days. Well, now you get a full week against the Lions, who they might want to forget about their Thanksgiving game against the Packers. And this game is huge, not only for both of these teams, but their chances to playoffs. Now, I do see Dallas's defense right now playing very good. The Cowboys offense is playing very good. They'll probably take some shots deep for George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I just think Detroit right now, with the run game with Jahmyr Gibbs, they're going to pound on the ground. Give me Detroit 20-21. They win by 1 point. Tennessee Titans take on the Cleveland Browns at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Cleveland is a 4.5 point favorite. Finally, Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward. And the winner of that game, we'll be talking about the 2025 draft class, and we go, wait a minute. That guy that beat the number one overall pick should have been the number one pick of this year's draft. But different stories. Cleveland lost at home against the 49ers, but Myles Garrett is trying to chase history. And it could be his week against the Titans, who, yeah, they want to forget about their season, but they got beat up by Jacksonville. Give me Cleveland. Browns win by 6. Seattle Seahawks take on the Atlanta Falcons at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Seattle is a 7.5 point favorite after a great defensive showing against the Vikings, who, yeah, they play the Vikings. They didn't have J.J. McCarthy, by the way. Yeah. But their offense hasn't been, of course, the same thing, by the way. Of course, Jackson Smith-Njigba only had 23 receiving yards. All thanks to the run game. Yep. Run game always. Going to take on the Falcons, who, yeah, an embarrassing loss to the Jets on the road. Very embarrassing. And if the Falcons lose to this game against the Seahawks, I would be surprised if they do fire Raheem Morris after this game, because he's on the hot seat right now. I don't see Raheem Morris leaving, but if they do pull the trigger and fire Raheem Morris, yeah, this Falcons team next year is going to go on a rebuild. But give me Seattle. Seattle wins by 10. Indianapolis Colts take on the Jaguars at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Colts are a 2.5 point favorites after dropping another L. Yeah, just an L. We're not going with the losers, but they're coming off a tough loss to the Texans at home, and now they're in a tough situation because they still have to play Jacksonville, still have to play Houston this season. But their first test in Jacksonville against the Jaguars, who are now first place, and they have a shot to try to claim that first place spot with 5 games left this season. And look at this game. I like the Colts. I like the Colts bounce back, beat the Jaguars. Colts win by 3. Washington Commanders take on the Minnesota Vikings at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Minnesota is a 1.5 point favorite. Minnesota coming off a shutout loss to the Seahawks, welcoming the Commanders, who we'll see if Marcus Mariota plays because he had a good game against the Broncos defense. Although that 2 point conversion was a heartbreaker. And listen, the question right now is, where is Jane Daniels going to play? Will he play this week against J.J. McCarthy? That would be a great one. Michigan Wolverine J.J. versus LSU's Jane Daniels. What a match that would happen. However, being played in Minnesota, I like Minnesota winning this game, and they did move on with Adam Thielen, so maybe they're going to have their defense rely the most. Give me the Vikings winning it by 4. Cincinnati Bengals take on the Buffalo Bills at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Buffalo is a 6.5 point favorite. 6.5? Did you see what the Bengals did to the Ravens? That was when Joe Burrow came back, by the way. And Joe Burrow's return was huge, getting a huge upset win on Thanksgiving against the Ravens. Now they got to go on the road against the Bills, who are still trying to keep up in the race to the AFC East title. And listen, if the Bills win this week, next week is the most critical game for Bills season against the Patriots on the road. Take a look at this game. I'm going to take the Bills. The Bills need this more. The Bengals, their season may not be over, but their chances for the playoffs is like 23%. So give me the Bills winning it by 4. New Orleans Saints take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh my God. At 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS, Tampa Bay is an 8.5 point favorite, the highest spread of the week. The Bucs. Yeah, Arizona let me down, but the Bucs got Baker Mayfield back, and the Bucs are back in the win column. Taking on the Saints. Yeah, they were so close to getting their third win in the season, and all of a sudden it was a 2 point attempt turned into a pick six 2 point conversion for the defense. Being played in Tampa, the Bucs are trying to win this. If they win, they probably could control the AFC South on their hands. So give me Tampa by 9. Then what could be the game of the week? The Pittsburgh Steelers going to take on the Baltimore Ravens, 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Baltimore is a 7 point favorite. This is a critical game for both teams who are trying to hopefully clinch the division as we get to as we're in the month of December. So a lot is on the line. Both teams are coming off brutal losses, of course. In this game, and Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, great history when they have a rivalry for this game. I'm going to take the Ravens. They needed more than Pittsburgh is, and Pittsburgh's offense not very good. Give me Baltimore by 3. Miami Dolphins take on the New York Jets at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Miami is a 2.5 point favorite. 2.5. So they're giving chances for the Jets to beat the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins are still in the playoff race. They just got to win out and maybe have some help if they're going to get into that playoff spot. Going up against the Jets, who, yeah, they don't need to worry about the playoffs. They're just going to play spoil. And the Jets are rocking in their Gotham City NFL rivalries jersey, so that is going to be cool to see them. And it's being played in MetLife Stadium. The question will be, will there be more Jets fans to show up in this game, or there'll be more Dolphins fans? But I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Dolphins win by 4. Denver Broncos take on the Las Vegas Raiders at 4:05 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Denver is a 7.5 point favorite. The Broncos so close, a narrow win against the Commanders. Well, for the Raiders, trash it. Your season's over. You fired Chip Kelly. Things are not going well for you guys. Broncos win by 20. Rams take on the Cardinals at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Rams are a 7.5 point favorites against the Cardinals, who are coming off a tough loss on the road. And for the Rams, yeah, that was one of the most embarrassing losses this season. I know it was against the Panthers. It was a rainy game. But come on, it's really embarrassing. Matthew Stafford throwing 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick six. Yeah, not a good sign there. But give me the Rams bounce back. Rams win by 10. To the game of the week. This is my game of the week. I do agree on this one. The Chicago Bears take on the Green Bay Packers at 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Green Bay is a 7 point favorite. This is the game. This is the game I will be watching. And the reason why is, can the Bears be the next contenders for the Super Bowl, or are they a legit playoff team? That's going to be the question. And against their rivals, who are coming off a touch huge win against the Lions, and Jordan Love throwing four touchdowns to the Lions, and their first sweep since 2020. Now, this rivalry has been taken since 1919 or 1920s, wherever this right how long this rivalry is. But who needs it more? The Bears are now the 1 seed. The Packers are standing at the 6th seed in the NFC. And if I remember, if you go back to January of 2025, the Bears beat them in Lambeau. So the Packers are going to want to get that revenge on the Packers, or the Packers are looking to get their revenge against the Bears. So here, I like the Packers. I think it's going to be a real close game. My only question is, can the Bears defense slow down Josh Jacobs and that running game? If they can slow down that running game, they might win this game. But I do think Green Bay is the better team against the Bears. I know the Bears fans are thinking, oh, wait a minute. The Bears, we're going to play the Packers. We beat them in January. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care you beat them in January. We're in December, Chicago. So if you want to prove you're the best team in the NFC North, go beat the Packers. Packers win by 10. Houston Texans take on the Kansas City Chiefs at 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Kansas City is a 7.5 point favorites. And yeah, if I'm looking at this game, this is a must-win game for the Chiefs. After all, their season's still on the line for playoffs. But going to take on the Texans, who their defense, boy, is probably the best defense in the NFL. But can that defense contain Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Now, the last time these two teams met, Kansas City beat them twice in Kansas City. So, looking at this game, Kansas City should beat C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Kansas City wins by 4. And then finally, on Monday night, you got the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Los Angeles Chargers at 8:15 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN. Philly is a 1.5 point favorite. Also, there's a special edition of the Monday night game. Monsters Inc. will have their football game, just like last year when we had the Simpsons. This year we're having with Monsters Inc. Mike Wazowski and Sully will bring the Monsters Inc. live to Disney Plus to their football game. Fun day football. Awesome to see that. But let's go to the game. Philly must-win game. Going to the Chargers home turf, who we're told that Justin Herbert is dealing with a hand injury. Question is, will he play? If he doesn't play, I would take the Eagles. But again, Amari and Hampton is coming back for this game. So here, give me the Eagles still. I still think the Eagles need to win this more. They're trying to make sure this offense is way better than the last week. So give me the Eagles winning it by 2. That's it for my NFL Week 14 predictions. If you have not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.